Uh, you are the consistency coach. I didn't know what that meant until I started walking this thing all the way out. But that's who I am. I'm the consistency coach. I love sharing and sharpening women, not just in the health and wellness piece, but I believe that total health is the triune being. So that's spirit, soul, and body. So that's what makes me unique in that vein, is that I'm dealing with spirit, soul, and body. And I can, if you want to be consistent in an area, I'm graced help.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Wow. Um, so let's get started. So can you tell me in one sentence, what does, so of course the name of our chat is Why Power. So tapping into motivation and consistency. When that wanes, what do we do? Can you tell us what does Why Power mean in your health journey?
You said one sentence.
No,
you,
not in one sentence.
oh, okay, I was about to say in one sentence. So let me first start by saying this, because trying to define that in one sentence would be a little bit challenging for something that's so powerful and important to any journey. Hear that, any journey, not just health and wellness journey, because why power, um, it's attached to purpose. And I think what gives why any power at all is the weightiness of your why. Whether your why is a weighty why or it's a weak why, because that's going to determine how this why is going to speak to your want to, because you got to have a want to, and that's what the why power does. It fuels your want to. So for me, a weighty why is what makes all the difference, because that weighty why, it will become the fuel to when you don't want to, or it also is the fuel to help you to do what needs to be done, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. Okay. Can you remember the moment that you kind of discovered your why, especially specifically to your health journey?
Mm, so if I'm being honest, I've always had a why, because I know the importance of a why in any type of journey. I think what I discovered though is my problem was my why was too weak. And so how I found
Mm.
this out was um in season. So if you know me, I like a rhythm, and I don't like to be pulled out of my rhythm. I got this lined up as how I'm going to work this, and if it deviates too much, it throws me completely off. And so, y'all know, every woman on here know, you have those seasons in your life where you don't have control over certain things, and things switch, and your schedule gotta change. I know y'all on here get upset when your schedule change, or somebody, you got to do something that wasn't in your agenda, and it throws everything off. And so I came into a season that I'll call like a sudden shift that I didn't have control over, and it knocked me off my schedule. And I found out how weak my why was, because that season impacted me spiritually, it impacted me mentally, emotionally, and physically. And because my why was weak, I found myself falling off, it not eating right. I found myself falling off, had every excuse not to exercise, not to show up for me too. What the season was important, but I think sometimes we forget showing up for us too. And that's what the importance of having a weighty why does. It reminds you that choosing you is holy too, sis. Doing something for you is holy too. And I think we forget that as women. We think our value lies in what we can do for everybody else, being superwoman, and forgetting about choosing us, showing up for us. We bet on everybody else, not us. And so, yeah, that's how I found my why, or knew that my why needed to have a little bit more weight than it was having in the first place, is when seasons changed and I found myself falling off with showing up for me.
I like that weighty why. Or you said you had a weak why. I love that because so many times we say, I just want to lose weight. That is never going to get you through.
It's weak.
It's never going to
That's
get you through. Yes, it's very
because
weak.
and can I because and I'm gonna tell you why it's weak. So if our why is weak, it doesn't have the how would I say, it doesn't have the weight or the wherewithal to undergird my want to when I don't want to, has a lot to say. So if my why is I just want to lose weight, what happens on the weeks when the scale doesn't move? What happens when it's a couple of weeks and the scale doesn't move? You
Mhm.
know, then you throw it all away. We throw it all away. Versus having a why that will sustain you even when the scale don't move. Because there are stories that the scale don't tell.
Oh yeah.
But what my why tells me, I showed up for me anyway. I put in the work. And eventually, if I stay here and cultivate this, the results got to come. They have to. And that's the mentality that a why will give you, a weighty why will give you.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we don't realize that, that whole nurturing and want to put everybody else first. If we put ourselves first, everybody else benefits. But when we
Every,
put everybody else first, they benefit, but we don't. But if we start with us, there's truly a trickle down effect, and
yes.
everybody will be good. Everybody will be good. Um, have you found that your why evolved over time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that goes back to just what I was talking about. So in the beginning, my why was like most of us, I want to look good in this. I'm going on a vacation, my birthday coming up. I want to look snatched. I want to look good in this outfit. Um, all of those outer things, the physical appearance. And those will be automatic benefits at some point, but my why can't be just based on that alone. Another thing is that my why also used to be more others focused rather than from within. So I was doing it for, this one, because, and I'm not saying that doing it because I want to be around for my kids isn't a strong why, but you got to include you in it. Because if you're not included in it and you don't feel that you're important in it, you're not going to commit to it. You're not going to work through it. So when my why came from a deeper place, that started with me first, like with me first and others, like you just said, T, others are going to benefit and be blessed from the overflow of a healthy me, of a more committed me. They're going to be blessed by that. So when it got deep to that point and I realized I'm worth the investment, I am worth the investment too. My heart message, you'll hear me say this probably a lot of times through here, is that choosing you is holy too. I got scripture to back that up. John 15 and 16. Whenever y'all get a break at some point, pull it up and look it up for yourself. It says, Jesus is talking. He says, you did not choose me. I chose you, and I purposefully planted you to produce. He talks about all the good things as to why he chose us. And so out of that, I heard Holy Spirit say to me one day, choosing you is holy too. And when we buy that as women, makes a difference. I had a conversation with one of my sisters not some couple years ago, and what she said in that conversation, that thing went off in my spirit, and I'll never forget it. She said we were talking about weight, this health journey, and she kept saying, you're so consistent, and I'm just not consistent, sis. I can't stay consistent. And in that moment, she turned around and she said, but I heard Holy Spirit tell me, you just got to learn how to love where the Lord lives. And immediately behind when she said that, I heard, and that includes you. That includes
Mm.
you. And I say that to say, to the point of your why evolving, and it being bigger than just losing weight, just keeping in mind that if you choose you, that is holy, but learn to love where the Lord lives. He lives in you, the whole of you.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So when it's we be in this we're in this space sometimes where we are feeling good and we know it's okay to choose us and we're choosing us. And then we all know, like as they say, life be lifing. Um, so when that happens and you hit maybe a low point or you feel off track, what helps you remember that it's okay to choose you and refocus on you and your overall health?
So I'm going to say to that, um, fair assessment, fair assessment, fair assessment, because I mean fair in owning up, to my part, or the parts that I played in this low place, or
Mm.
and the parts that I don't control. I think is because I'll say it like this. Maybe I'll make it plain like this. I'm trying to look at my little notes to remember, but fairly assessing helps me not to abuse giving myself grace. I got a lot of people that I'm connected to, and you have low moments, and or you get off track, and they be like, well, girl, you got to give yourself grace. Girl, you got to give yourself grace. And that is true. That is true. I'm not debunking that at any rate, but I'm saying be fair about that. Because if I'm sitting here stuffing my face for 5 weeks straight, should I keep giving myself grace? No, that's an abuse of grace. It's something else that's going on, and I don't want to focus it. I focus on what needs to be fixed. So I use food to fix it. That's why I say fair assessment. So when I fall off or I hit these low points, I immediately go into fairly assessing myself. Shantae, what part have you played in this? I stopped working out for 3, 4 weeks at a time. And I got to fairly assess that. What stopped me from doing that? Well, a lot of times I realize I'm taking on too much stuff. I don't go to bed until late at night. So when I get up in the morning, I'm already exhausted. And to think about walking on somebody's treadmill or lifting a weight, you're crazy. So I hope I'm making that sense when I say you got to learn how to fairly assess yourself and tell yourself the truth. We cannot get help or healed if we're not honest with us first. So when the first thing when we get off track or we hit a low point, is to make a fair assessment. And sometimes the fair assessment is you need to rest. Sweetie,
Yeah.
you need to slow down. You just doing too much. It's okay. Or I deserve this break. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be fine for a few days, and that's going to be okay. But you got to do that on a fair level.
Yes. Yes. We often give ourselves too much grace
Way
too
too
many
much.
times. And this will lead into my next question, because when you have people in your circle that are telling yourself, they're excusing it for you, they're giving you the grace also and telling you it's okay. And you do so good at it every other time. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And you look up and it's been 10 weeks of it's being okay. And your health is not where it should be. Or as you say in other areas too, you're not where you should be. You're not where you could be. And you've given yourself enough excuses to make it okay
Mm-hmm.
when it really isn't. So, what role does environment like family and friends and schedule, what role do those type of things play in keeping your why alive and remembering to put yourself first?
They play a huge part. Um, they play a huge part in it. Because I believe that, and this is not just limited to that, I believe that the company we keep, the connections we have, the places that we choose to sit ourselves and our hearts, they play a big, big part on who you are as a person. And so for me, I'm naturally a sharer by nature. Like if anybody, the people that I know in these squares know, if I got something that's blessing me, child, I'm running to try to share it with you because I believe in the power of community. And what I have learned is that the right community, the right community can be contagious in the best way to those who connect, and not just come to the community or connect to people to just get something, but you contribute too. It's
Mhm.
strength. We so much better together. You know, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna tell you like what I've been hearing a lot of lately. Do it in silence, do it in silence, move in silence. And I do believe that there are times and spaces that we should, but then there are some spaces that we should have community around us. Health and wellness is one. Because
Yes.
I don't know everything. You don't know everything. My way is not the only way. Your way is not the only way. But like tonight, I'm guaranteed it's the first of the month. It's July. It's a brand new month. What a timely time to have this conversation. To the people who have been saying, I'm gonna start next Monday, or I'm gonna start at a fresh week. Why wait? And I mean that like that. Why WEIGHT? Why are we waiting? Why? It's been weighing you down for so long. You actually took the time to push that button tonight. To you're taking the time to show up in these little square boxes because you didn't choose that on your own, baby. I'm gonna tell y'all that now. You didn't choose it because I was here. I was gonna be the guest on here tonight. You didn't do that. You think some of y'all think you came to support me, but this is a message coming straight to your heart. It's time to choose you. It's time to choose you. Enough with the excuses and get in the community. And not just come to the community and when you fall off, you get quiet and you ain't saying nothing. Use the communities that you are connected to for your advantage. My God, we are powerful together. Y'all got keys. We got keys that will help each one of us. And so I push community and I push contributing to the community because you'll find out the more that you engage with the community, the more you'll get out of it.
Oh, yes.
You see, I saw where you have like these, I don't know when if they happen monthly or they happen every Saturday, but the ladies come together and y'all go to the park and y'all walk and look like y'all have picnics and stuff. Do you know how many women would be encouraged to keep pushing on and to really see who and love her and embrace her if you surrounded yourself with that kind of community? So yeah, I know I took the long way around, girl, but I mean, environment, the right community, and all of that will strengthen your journey. But you got to actively participate too. You can't come to communities just being a spectator. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't go. How somebody gonna know what help you need?
Yeah.
How
Yes.
somebody gonna know how they could serve you? You know, how do you know that what you got or what you share ain't gonna help somebody else? Because somebody else could be going through that. So yeah, I'm gonna pull back.
No, this is good. This is good. And that's exactly the point I was going to make when the people that sit back and don't say anything. Your story is for somebody else. It's not for
It
you.
is.
It's not for you. Share. Somebody is going through the same thing. Somebody has been down that road. They need to hear that they're not alone. And sometimes, we just want to protect our stuff so much, not understanding that if we just shared it, the relief that would come from it, and it would help us and others.
Yep,
So,
and you know another thing that I always say, and it's so true. Sharing sharpens. The Bible says iron sharpens iron. Sharing is a way to be another sharpener. Sharing is the way you sharpen somebody else's iron. So just think of it in that way. It's not waste. You know, the enemy of your soul will tell you that it don't even relate. That don't make sense. Don't say it. Like some of y'all in these boxes, y'all got something to say, and he's telling you that don't make sense. It ain't in alignment with what they talking about. Child, share. You don't know who you gonna sharpen.
yeah. Because don't just share the good. We have enough of that on social media of people pretending. Don't just share the good.
That's
Be real.
right.
People relate to real. Share that you have struggles also. You know,
Hmm.
you don't eat clean 100% of the time. You don't work out 6 days a week. Like share your downfalls and
No, ma'am.
people can connect for sure. Um, what's something that you thought was good for your health journey, something you may have started off doing and then you realized it no longer served you and you let it go?
Oh my God. So I started out, child, I was a cardio queen. You hear me? I can walk 10, 11, 12 miles in a
You can
day.
because I've seen it on my
Yeah.
Nike app.
You see on the Nike Run Club app because we friends. But all I did was walk, 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 walk. But number one, because walking is free therapy for me. And that's walking is where I get a lot of downloads. So I just walk. I like to walk. But for the transformation that I'm going for in my body, which is to build muscle, um, and to lose fat, the walking was um, the excessive walking was working against me. So I'm strength training, and then I'll go outside and walk 10 miles and wondering why. I don't see no definition in my body, and I'm looking like this straight up and down. I'm losing my curves, and so that was one of the things that I learned. That I'll say it like this: stop being random with your health and wellness journey, and also stop comparing yourself to everybody else's journey. Because a part of why I was walking so much, I see this one doing it, I see that one doing it, and their body look like this. So maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do this. Stop being random about it. What do you want? What do you envision for your body? And then work towards your process that won't look like Shantae's, that won't look like T's or Mahogany's or Alicia's or Amanda, Dion, Ebony's. It won't look like somebody else's. Trust your process and work through it. So that was something that I learned. I had to switch that cardio out, and I'm telling you that thing is a struggle. I just got used to it, to where I just get on the treadmill, do my 30-minute incline walk at the end of my strength training, and get off. But I be looking outside like one more mile won't hurt, but I'm trusting my process.
Trust your process. And also, I don't know the age range of everybody on the call, but for women as we age, we need to focus more on the strength training to keep our
Yes.
muscle mass. Um, so it's very important. You know, get
Yes.
your cardio in. We need that for our heart also. But the strength training is where we build muscle, where we keep muscle as we age. So as it starts falling off, we keep it because we've been building it. So
Yeah, and yeah, you want to
that's
be able to pick your kids up. You want to be able to reach for pots and pans up off the shelf. You want to be able to bend down and put stuff in drawers and stuff. The strength training is going to do it. And listen, when she said that, I know some people probably froze up like, I ain't doing that. I'm not going I don't want to look. Do I look like a man? No. And you do not have to lift heavy. 10, 20 pounds at your house. You can do this stuff at home, but it is vital. And the older we get, like she said, it's going to pay off. Your 70-year-old self, ma'ams, in these boxes, your 80-year-old self, your 90-year-old self, going to pat you on the back, say, thank you, girl. Thank you. Thank you for picking that weight up. So somebody ain't got to be picking you up.
yes, when you can still go up and down stairs and use the bathroom by yourself. It'll be
Hmm.
because you kept your muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And also I just want to add also with diet, with what we eat, these trends of just following the latest trend of what's hot out there, TikTok trends and
Oh yeah.
um these watermelon fasts that I hate right now. But this these constant trends of I'm going to do. She lost weight doing this, so I'm going to do it also. Everybody's body is different, and yours may not respond the same, or it may not just be the best way for you to get your healthiest version of yourself. Because just because you're losing weight doesn't mean you're becoming healthy. Let's
No,
put that out there also. You can be skinny and sick.
so true.
So focus on getting the right nutrients and stuff in your body, and the weight will take care of itself. Just stay focused. The weight will definitely come off.
Yes.
Um, how do you how do you reset physically, mentally, and emotionally when you've fallen off track a little bit or a whole lot? When you find yourself getting off track, what's your reset button to get back on track?
My reset button is spiritually going within. I believe that everything starts in the spirit. So if I am off track physically, if I'm off track mentally, and I'm off track emotionally, they can't inform me as to why they give me indicators that I'm off track, but they're not going to inform me. So, you know, so going spiritually, let me give an example. Mentally or emotionally, I'm off track. I'm feeling all over the place. What is going on? I go to the spirit. When I say in the spirit, I mean I go in prayer. God, I'm feeling like this. I've been feeling like this for a couple of days. Like emotionally, I feel like this. Mentally, I feel like this. And it's in that place that I get my answers. Sometimes it's you you not getting enough rest, Shantae. That's why you're mentally exhausted. You're overwhelmed. You're taking on too much stuff. So I go in prayer in the spirit to inform me as to what needs to change, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Prime example here. I had to step away from social media. Um, that's why y'all ain't seen no stories of me. Instagram and Facebook are off. Why? Because mentally and emotionally, I was so impacted because it's loud out here in this world. It's loud, loud. I mean, even while you reading words, it's like everybody's screaming in every post. And it was impacting me physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. But it was when I was in prayer that Holy Spirit said, you need to come up off of there for a little while. And you need to create a space where my word is the loudest voice in your land, in your heart. And so that may had caused me to have to make some decisions. I'm gonna have to put some boundaries up. I'm gonna have to guard I'm responsible for guarding my heart, you know. And so that was one of the examples that I got when I went into the spirit to say, why am I feeling this way? Like I don't know if y'all experienced this, but like I was always just feeling antsy. I don't know if antsy is the word, maybe anxious, like just never settled. And since I've been off since I've been off them social media and not scrolling and stuff, I got a piece. I ain't lying. I ain't saying that this for y'all. This for y'all. But every now and then I got a piece. I don't feel rushed. Like I gotta do this, or I gotta do that, or I gotta respond to this. I even do the same thing with my phone. I cut my phone off, put it in another room, and I get to you when I get to you, sis. Cause I'm feeling a certain way. I'm feeling off track. I feel like I need a reset. And sometimes the quickest reset is to just shut some stuff down, simplify some stuff. So yeah.
I About 2 months ago, I accidentally left my phone at home. And at first there's panic, like I need my phone, but I was too far down the road to come back. That was probably the most peaceful day I have had in a long time. And I said I was going to start doing it once or twice a month, just purposely leaving my phone at home. Like we,
Mm-hmm.
we grew up in a time where we didn't have phones. We were fine. I'll be fine. But we
Right.
so attached to it now. But I realized it. I was like, this was the most peaceful evening without that phone attached to me and demanding and commanding my time and my attention.
Yeah, set
So
some silent modes during the day. Just go in silent mode for an hour so you can just
definitely can
regroup.
relate. Definitely can relate. And social media has become the news. I stopped watching the news over 15 years ago because it was causing that anxious feeling. Every
Yeah,
morning after watching it, I would feel this anxiousness. So stop watching it. But now that's social media. That's
yeah.
our news. That's our constant entertainment. And so it can have the same effect. Definitely can.
Hmm.
What's one, if you could give like a practical tool to everyone listening, what's a practical tool that helps you reconnect when your motivation wanes?
Mm, practical tool. What would I say when my motivation wanes? What do I do practically? So that's kind of complicated. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this for me. Because what my journey has taught me is that motivation, inspiration, and willpower are good starters, but they're not great sustainers. And so if we rely on just motivation alone, um, you're gonna find yourself falling off all the time because you're not gonna be motivated. I'm telling you from somebody who does this every day, who has gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go down into your own basement where ain't nobody looking, ain't no cameras, ain't nobody clapping, saying, "Girl, you got it." You pushing yourself. So I mean, people say you're so consistent, but consistency is cultivated. So my practical tool is to push that discipline is something that has to be developed. And so you got to get into the habit of cultivating consistency. Let me say it in a simple way so everybody can get it. The one thing that I do is I learn to show up for me too. And I show up the practical thing. And I show up for me. Some days I show up for me and I'm at 20%. I take that 20% and I show up. There are some days I show up and I'm 100%. You know, motivation ain't there. There's sometimes that motivation is just not there, but I show up anyway. And that would be my one practical thing. Show up when you don't feel like it. I mean, you show up at work and you don't feel like it.
Yeah, they showing up for others because that's others.
Yeah, we show up for work every day. I mean, we'll push through sickness and show up at work. Why? Why do we do it? Because we know a paycheck is on the other end. But we also do it because we know that ain't but so many times that I'm gonna be able to not show up there before I won't have a job, and that's gonna impact my paycheck. So show up. Show up. That's the practical thing. You show up. Sometimes we don't want to be mommies. Sometimes we don't want to do the wife duties, but guess what we do? We find the energy and we muster up, and what we do, we show up. So that's about the simplest practical thing that I can say. I show up even when I don't feel like it at times.
Yeah, gotta start looking at ourselves as the same way we see that job. It's a necessity. You are a necessity.
Yes.
So same way you push through to get there, to be there for that boss or that company, push to be there for yourself.
Yeah,
The
show up.
benefits are humongous, and it may not come in the form of what you feel as a paycheck, but there's definitely a huge payment attached to it.
You
Definitely.
better talk. You better talk.
Yeah. So how would you say that living in alignment with your health and your health why has impacted your relationships, your work, your confidence, just other areas of your life? How have you seen that show up?
Mm, I do notice that I show up better for others when I am committed to showing up for me and working my why. Um, I'm more I'm more calm, I'm more peaceful, I'm more attentive, I'm more aware and alert. and I'm more open to being able to give life because I chose life, me. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Can you share a recent moment with us where you almost gave up, where you felt like, just it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Child,
And how you recovered from that and what kept you going.
child, let me tell you, the last 2 weeks is the most recent. I don't know what was going on with me. I went through a process last year that God led me to, called the 40-day turn up process, which gave me tools, the discipline, taught me nutrition inside and out, because the nutritional side of things was always the toughest part for me, or the most challenging part. Went through that process. Girl, came out, lost 20 pounds in 40 days, kept it off this entire time until the last 2 weeks of June. I don't know. I went on this eating rampage, and it was crazy. It got bad, and I'm just like crying out to God. I mean, it had got so bad. I was eating. Seemed like I couldn't stop myself from eating all day. And I knew that there's a second half to this process that I'm currently in right now. We just started yesterday. But in order to get in that process, I had to be at a certain weight, my weight that I ended my process in. And I was like 4 pounds over because I was eating like somebody crazy. And I remember coming up here in this room that I'm in, and I started crying. And I'm like, God, what's wrong with me? Like, I know what to do. And it just seems like I just keep being all over the place. And is it even worth it? I just want to throw my hands up.
Oh, is she froze for everybody?
Yeah. Or okay, no, you're still here. Yeah.
Oh no.
Forget it. If you're here,
Oh, she back. She
uh-oh.
back.
Okay, we lost you for a minute.
Yeah, the lights blink. But anyway, long story short, um, when I was praying, what is that going on? When I was praying, Holy Spirit said to me something so powerful, and it shifted everything. He said, "Deliverance will never dominate. I mean, discipline will never dominate where deliverance is needed." And when he said that, I leaned into it a little more. Like, what does that mean? And he's like, you can have all the discipline you want, Shantae. You got that through the 40-day turn up process. But those disciplines will only help you to stay delivered. You got to get deliverance first. Child, you got a spirit of gluttony, and you need to be delivered from it. And so that was my most recent. I was ready to throw in the towel until I realized that there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to be delivered from the spirit of gluttony. And you can have all the discipline in the world that you want, but where there's deliverance needed, those disciplines, they'll work until they don't work no more. So,
Cool. Well, somebody in the chat earlier said she was on your toes. Now I think she on mine. So just know,
okay.
just know all our toes might hurt a little bit tonight.
All right.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. So do any ladies have any questions for Shantae? Anything she said that you want more clarity on? Or just want to chime in and give some feedback or share your own story? Or share what part she's on your toes if you want to share.
Yeah, no, I'll chime in. And actually, T, I think it was you that said, don't don't jump on some of these uh fasts or things we see on Facebook. Um, and but I think it's okay to try things. It's okay to try new things because you got to find what works for you.
Hmm.
Yes.
But you have to be willed enough to go, okay, that wasn't the one. And I'm gonna go back to something tried and true. But I did want to ask either of you, T or Shantae, have you found any of those? Have you tried any of those like nutritional counseling supplements, programs that worked for you or kind of put you on a good path, a good track?
You want me to share tea or you?
Yeah, I'll let you go first, and now I'll chime in also.
So, not so much of those trends on TikTok or any of that. I have tried the adding more protein to my diet, because and I've been seeing results from that. It's just having the knowledge on it. But I didn't just jump into that mahogany because they were saying it. I did my own research so that I'll know, because if I get the understanding, then I'll make the application. But the one he doesn't call it a program, it's a process. The one process that I have tried, and I ain't seen another one like it ever. It's spiritually based. I think that was the difference. I paid plenty money for plenty programs to put myself in environments that I wouldn't even put myself in on a regular basis. And I done paid you money for me to come in a group chat and you cussing me out and you cussing and you playing crazy music and you doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But the 40-day turn up process, I'm not trying to push that here, but by Dr. Joe, was the best process that I've ever went through. That was the process I went through last October. Lost 20 pounds in 40 days. And all I paid was a $10 registration fee. I had to do the work. I had
Hmm.
to receive what he was releasing, the revelation and the wisdom that he was releasing. But again, that went back to choosing me. And I chose me and invested in me. So yeah, I tried that and it worked. And I'll back it any day, because he is biblically based. He's given everything he's giving you is legit, and he ain't breaking your pockets doing it.
Hmm.
So I'll actually vouch for that too because I did it in March and I saw it somewhere else and I said, wait a minute, is this the same thing Booby did? And I went back and found your post and I was like, it is.
You did it in March. You were class fresh.
Yes, yeah. And
Wow.
I just started the journey yesterday. So yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll say for me what happened was it made it alignment because again, I'm in a program to become a health coach and what he was teaching us was aligning with the nutrition part. It was aligning with what because I'm doing an integrative um, health coaching class. So it's more about getting to the root of the issue instead of just, you know, covering the symptoms. There was a lot of alignment there. And when you apply the principles and apply the knowledge, it works. And then because it was my insurance offered it, it was free through my job. I did actual nutritional counseling. I did a few
Hmm.
sessions of that and took some knowledge from that also aligned with some of the things that I was learning. I'm not a big meat eater. So I've heard before you need to increase your protein, you need to increase your protein. Just not a big meat person, but I've now learned the value of increasing my protein. And so
Hmm.
that's when, you start learning different things and you have to switch. You can't just say, well, everybody says you should be vegan.
Yep.
Right.
So maybe some people should be, but I don't think everybody should be anything.
Right.
It's what they call bio individual. Everybody's different. So
Yeah.
that's been my
And
experience.
and I'll share from for myself too. I did Noom. You guys heard of Noom?
I've heard of
Mm-hmm.
it.
Um, Several years ago. It was Noom. I was all about Noom. I lost 20, 25 pounds, was just eating better, had a better mindset, and it was great. And then I was like, okay, I think I can do it on my own now. I'm good. I learned enough. I don't need to keep doing this. I don't need to keep paying for this. It wasn't expensive, but it's, a payment out your check. Um, and fell off. And it was just I really can't even make it make sense as to why even right now I don't just go back and join and hit the button. But it's I don't know. I can't make it make sense to me. But it was something tried and true that I know that worked. And it took some time. It took commitment. Because you got to read these articles and stuff in the mornings or at night, wherever you find the time. Um, but I just, it's like something's just not switching in my brain. It says, well, do it because you know it works. I mean, I guess the same way that it says, don't eat the donut because it's not good for you. But
Yeah.
it's just a struggle. And probably like more to what you were saying, Boo, like you got to be delivered.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think too, Mahogany, with any process or anything, um, it requires our consistent, active participation. Whether you pay for Noom or not, it requires us to. That's that cultivating consistency piece that I was talking about. Like it, it's going to require something of us at all times. And I think sometimes, I don't know, sometimes we think it's just supposed to happen. I'm not saying that that's you, but sometimes that's the hard conversation that we got to hear and we got to have, that anything is going to require any transformation, anything worth having, anything is going to require something from me. And am I willing to give that, you know, even when it gets tough? And start again. Just start again.
Mm.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be Noom. You learn from Noom. See, we go this process here. He's not making us dependent on him to where we got to stay in it. He's teaching us this as a lifestyle. So my mindset when I go into any process or program is I'm going to receive the wisdom and revelation they're releasing so that I can become one with it and live it in my life, so that I ain't got to be paying $100 and $500 and $300 every month to somebody, because I learn. I'm listening to learn and live.
mhm.
So yeah, I see Dion said that she hasn't so much of fallen off track, but I recently had a baby and I'm 43. So sometimes I have the feelings of being undesirable, not confident in my own skin, struggling with taking care of all of my kids, 3 kids, but I've been wanting to get into health and wellness, but just not having time and knowing where to start. And if I can, I want to speak to that, sis, for you, because sometimes we think we gotta go all in and we gotta do it big. Start where you can start. Start. Here's the first start. I'm gonna choose me. I'm gonna choose me, and then start something small, like walk indoor walks at home. Highly effective. Highly effective. I know our schedules are busy, but there's moments in our day where we got a little bit of free time. Even if that walk, you got to get creative with that walk, to where maybe your schedule is packed full and you don't have that. Little stuff like walking a little further, parking out further, and walking a little further. You gotta just start. Like, getting anywhere starts with a step, and then you take the next step, and then you take the next step. People think that 10 minutes and 15 minutes of working out amounts to nothing. The devil is a lie. It does. It does. 10 minutes of moving your body makes a difference. And so if it's 10 minutes of standing in your house while you cooking dinner in the kitchen for the kids and walking in place, that's a win.
Yes.
That's a win.
And it,
I
it
don't know if
definitely,
anybody else can add to it for her as well.
Well,
Yeah, I
oh,
oh, I'm sorry.
no, what I was going to say is that I started in December of last year. Started December the 1st, where I said I'm gonna work out every day, even if it's only 20 minutes a day. I'm gonna work out every day. So I started that in December, just doing 20 minutes a day. And from December 1st until July 1st, I have not missed a day of working out since then. And I recently like upped it at where I work out because I have a knee and back problems. So I was working out standing up, and that was making it difficult for me to do anything more than 20 minutes a day because I'd end up like in pain halfway through. And that would make it challenging for me to want to keep working out because I didn't like to be in the pain. So now I do chair exercises
Yes.
every day. And I do them in the morning before I start my day. And then I do another exercise at night. And I just recently started, I haven't been doing that since December, but I just recently started doing that where because I do the chair exercises, it makes it easier for me. And my motivation for working out is it helps with my mental health. I live alone and I live in an area where I don't, I only have my daughter, but she's 28, so she don't want nothing to do with me. So she does. So I live in an area where I'm by myself and I live alone. So for me to maintain my mental health and to be able to do my job where I work with mental health people, I do that for me so that I can be available for me as I am available for them. So if you have to do it differently,
Yes.
that also allows you to keep moving and you don't focus on the time that you're moving. You focus on the benefit of just simply moving. So
Yes.
that's what works for me.
Awesome. Good job, Tara.
Thank you. That's
Yes.
pretty fast.
Tara.
I'm not good with consistency. Once I start something, it's kind of hard for me, like I'll miss a couple days. But I will say that in this respect, this has been the most consistent I have been, and it has helped in other areas of my life where discipline and consistency is hard for me. So,
And Tara, can you share that I can guarantee you that all of those days you have not wanted to show up, that you weren't motivated, and they weren't perfect.
no, some
But
days when I'm
showed up.
sitting in the chair exercising, I'm literally doing the bare minimum just because I know that I have to do it for me. So sometimes I'm sitting there and you got to lift your arms up high and I'm like I'm doing it like this, but I'm showing up.
That's it.
I'm not always 100% when I show up, but I show up.
That's good.
That's the important part. That keeps and creates the habit. And I said I was going to do it, and I'm doing it, even when I don't feel like it. I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Amazing. I know we are at time. We're actually a little over. Does anybody else have anything else they want to share before we go? I am going to put the link. This is recorded. I'm going to put the link here. It will be posted to my YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to go back and listen again and you find yourself struggling, you're like, let me go back and see when she was all on my toes. What was she saying that I need to hear again so I can get back on track? Then it'll be posted on Facebook also, but I'll put the channel here that you can always go back to it and listen in whenever you need that powerful reminder and that how you dig deep and get that why and what that why needs to consist of so that it's not weak and it can sustain you. So thank you so much again, Shantae, for doing this for us tonight. Really, really powerful. So much learned here. I'm probably gonna have to go back and re-listen myself and take some notes even. Thank you, ladies, for showing up for yourselves tonight. And just continue, like you said, to show up for yourself and
Lights flashing again.
put yourself first and know that it's okay to put yourself first. Mahogany, your hand was up.
She's clapping.
No, that was the clapping. Clapping.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, she raised her
And
hands.
for you too, T. Thank you for doing this.
Yes. Thank you, T.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are welcome. Like I enjoy it. And I just want us to get all the knowledge we can and just support each other through it and share and share and share. So I did put the Facebook group that I have in the chat if anybody is looking for some motivation or just some ladies to like encourage you along the way. But just remember, as Shantae said, you got to show up and participate.
Mhm.
Sometimes just being on the sideline looking get you in the game. Maybe in the beginning, you just let me see what they're doing in there. But at some point, the more you dive in and engage, the more you definitely get from it. So again, thank you, ladies. Again, I appreciate you all showing up tonight, and take care.
All right.
Thank
Have a
y'all.
good
Have
thank you.
a
Bye.
good one. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.